I can't be the only one that thinks that New York City's vaccine mandates and requirements to get into any indoor facility, place of business is the most stupidest, nonsensical, non-logical things to have ever come up in human time. So if you guys been living under the rock, Kyrie Irving has now been eligible to play home games at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn, New York because of New York's ridiculous vaccine mandate. Now, the new mayor, Eric Adams, came in and said that he would be looking to lift the mandate, which and thus will allow Kyrie Irving to play home games. But then he went on, I think it was CBS or NBC, whatever, some, random mainstream networking news channel, and said that, yeah, I would love for Kyrie to play because Eric Adams is a Brooklyn native, even though he lives out in New Jersey. Yeah, I would love Kyrie to play, but, there's just so much at stake here and this and that, and even after he lifts the ban, which he did, and that vaccine mandate ban will be lifted March 7th, there's a, quote, private sector vaccine mandate that is different from New York's vaccine mandate. And again, that makes no sense to me. So here's the video of Eric Adams saying that, and I'm going to give my thoughts and reactions on what he said because, again, it still makes absolutely no fucking sense. Take a listen.
Mr. Murray, I preface this by saying I am a 76er fan, but my wife is a diehard Net fan and was one of the first season ticket holders. I'm concerned. I feel that the Sixers have the run of the joint unless Kyrie Irving is able to play at home. What will you do to make it so Kyrie Irving can play at home?
Listen, I want Kyrie on the court. I would do anything to get that ring. So badly I want it. But there's so much at stake here. And, I spoke with the owner of the team. We want to find a way to get Kyrie on the court, but this is a bigger issue. I can't have my city closed down again. And it would send the wrong message just to have an exception for one player when we're telling a countless number of New York City employees, if you don't follow the rules, you won't be able to be employed. That's not the right thing to do.
But the away teams have a considered advantage because they could have unvaccinated. They're allowed to play. That doesn't seem right.
Makes no sense. And I don't know who thought of putting such a ridiculous rule in place of away teams can come and play when our teams from New York. But these are the rules, and I have to follow the rules. If I don't, I'm going to open the door that is sending a wrong message to everyday employees.
Absolutely.
Businesses have their vaccine mandates. City employees have their vaccine mandates. I have to follow the rules. And trust me, I want Kyrie on the court. We are here right now opening our city because of vaccine mandates.
Sure.
We can't close down again. I can't have my city closed down again.
So I like how he said that would be sending a wrong message to the residents of New York when, again, you pretty much just made yourself look like a hypocrite when unvaccinated away NBA players can play at the Barclays Center. So I'm just like, hold on. You put a vaccine mandate in place to, quote, protect people from having a COVID outbreak and getting other people sick, which in fact that the COVID vaccines don't prevent transmission whatsoever, nor do the booster, which was also fact. And now you're saying that away players, we all knew this all along. I'm trying to get my thoughts together because it really doesn't make any sense. So away players, in terms of their logic, can come in, play at the Barclays, pay at Madison Square Garden, and spread COVID to other people, get other people sick. But home team players who live in New York have to take this vaccine. So let me break this down. I'm trying to keep in track of all this dumb nonsense I saw from this video. So number one, you want to play it by the books. Kyrie Irving is not a resident of New York. Kyrie Irving lives out in New Jersey. He has a home in New Jersey. Now, yes, he has an apartment in Brooklyn that he stays from time to time at this late night game. But his home address is in New Jersey. That's number one. So that New York City vaccine rule doesn't apply to Kyrie if you want to get technical by the books. Number two, you saying that, well, okay, we're lifting the vaccine mandate ban, just how you lifting the mask mandates. But, the private sectors themselves have the separate vaccine requirement that we can't interfere. When it was the last New York City mayor and de Blasio, who put the mandate for private sector companies to have vaccine mandates. Not only did he put a key to New York City vaccine mandate, he also put a mandate for private sectors for them to have a vaccine mandate. And you mean to tell me that you are the new mayor of New York? You can't take that off? You cannot remove the mandate that the last mayor put in place because it's out of my hands. I can't do nothing about it. I have to follow the rules. Makes no sense whatsoever. 3, I read somewhere that athletes, I'm sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. 3, since you want to say, well, businesses, private sectors have their own vaccine mandate. The Brooklyn Nets don't have a vaccine mandate at all. The NBA does not have a vaccine mandate for its 30 teams at all. So excuse me, Mayor Eric Adams, what the hell are you talking about? You're just making up bullshit as you go. They're just making up rules as they go. They have none of this stuff written down. They're just making stuff up as they go. Like, well, we can't interfere. They literally put the rule in place. They want to come back and say, well, yeah, we didn't put that rule in place and we have to follow the rules that we originally put in place. What? It makes no sense. It makes no sense. And for the brain dead people who want to continue to listen and push the narrative that these morons on television are pushing, saying that, well, the vaccine mandates is all for safety. We want everybody to be safe. When again, not trying to get too political here, but vaccines, the COVID vaccines, don't stop transmission. We've seen hundreds of thousands, millions of people who took the jab forcefully or willingly still give off COVID to other people. And some of them have even gone to the hospital and got sick. Or some of them have even died who even took the booster. So what are you saying the vaccines are God's gift to the human race? They protect everybody when that's been a flat out lie. And you also notice too, this has not been about your health. Anytime a government says, yeah, we're doing this to make sure you're protected and safe. No, it's not. Because anybody who has talked negative or has not come out and been in favor of the vaccine, you have been threatened to get censored. Look at what happened with Joe Rogan. He was not a big fan of the vaccine mandates. Look what they're trying to do with him on the Spotify show. They were trying to have the biggest podcaster on Spotify, who has 200 million monthly listeners, canceled off their platform because he, quote, kept spreading misinformation, which again was the truth about COVID vaccines, because it didn't go with the mainstream media about everybody wanting to take this God knows, ridiculous vaccine. So they tried to cancel Joe Rogan. They tried to cancel other people who came out and spoke negatively or weren't in favor of the vaccines, because it's like, oh, we live in 2022, cancel culture. Oh, you don't agree with the mainstream agenda, the mainstream narrative? Oh, we got to cancel you. You can't say anything bad about us. This was never about health. And they're trying to make Kyrie Irving an example. It's like, look, this is what happens when you defy us. We're going to say shit that doesn't make sense. We're going to make up rules as we go. We're going to make up policies as we go. We are going to do things that are double standard, that are hypocritical. But if you question our authority, if you stand in our way, we are going to try to make an example out of you. That's exactly what they're doing with Kyrie. They're trying to make an example out of Kyrie because Kyrie was like, no, I'm not taking the vaccine. The vaccine was never a requirement for me to be a basketball player in the first place. When I signed my contract in 2019 with the Nets, there was no vaccine requirement for me to work at the Barclays Center in Brooklyn. But now all of a sudden there is. It's so dumb. It makes no sense. You can't make any sense of it at all. Even the outrageous left-wing people who kept pushing this vaccine narrative, they all flabbergasted. They don't even know what to say. And then now you have sports analysts who were so critical and bashing this man for months because he didn't want to take the vaccine. All of a sudden coming out defending Kyrie's like, well, hey, Kyrie should be allowed to play. But that wasn't your message 3, 4, 5, 6 months ago. What changed? And a lot of them Nimrods didn't even know that away unvaccinated players are allowed to play in New York. But home team players couldn't. And you're just finding this out right now? But you want to continue your bashing of a basketball player because he didn't want to take something that was never a requirement for him to play basketball in the first place. And again, I don't want to get too technical and nitty gritty and, politics about the vaccine mandates, but it makes no sense. This rule is bullshit. It's bogus. It's stupid. It's retarded. I could go on and on about how non-logical it is. They're basically saying, yeah, well, we can't do anything about private sector mandates when they literally were the ones who put the private sector mandates on in the first place. So you can't do something about something that you put, but that you put in place. Listen, Kyrie Irving, if I'm Kyrie, I look at suing the city of New York because they have done this man dirty. Dirty, dirty, dirty. You got to really look at your lawyers and be like, Eric Adams, here's a notion of law. Here's a notion to file a lawsuit. I'm coming at your neck, bro. In the city of New York, the governor, whatever her name is, Kathleen, whatever, I'm suing your ass too. Because your rules, your policies make absolutely no sense. You are targeting me specifically because I didn't want to follow your narrative. It's all about control. They're just trying to make an example of Kyrie. It's all about a control. It's bullshit. But nonetheless, those are my thoughts about Eric Adams, vaccine, his comments about lifting the vaccine mandates and the whole vaccine mandates in general. Like I said, I could go on and on about this, but I'm going to just leave it at there. Thank you for tuning into this video. Make sure you subscribe. Stay up to date. I'm out.